This new video tutorial. In this tutorial, I am going to demonstrate how we can deploy Selenium WebDriver code as a web application for free. We'll be using the Railway app for hosting our web application, and I will demonstrate how to configure our Selenium code to make it executable in this Railway app. Since it will be very convenient to configure the Railway app from GitHub, I have created an empty GitHub repository here. And first I will clone this repository, and once we make all the required code changes in our local project, I'll publish it to GitHub, and then from there we can configure the Railway app. So thank you for joining me, and let's get started. First I'm going to clone this repo here. Get it from BCS. Okay. Token to clone the repo. You can use your convenient method. Okay, so this will clone all the repository. I do not have anything on the repos, just a readme file, and it's empty. So first I'll be creating one Python project, which Python Selenium project, which we are going to deploy in a Railway app as a free. So for that, let's begin. So new Python file, and give this name as we can Selenium web app. So first, as we will be using the Flags library to deploy this this to the web server, and we will be also using the Selenium here. So for that, we need to install the Selenium and then WebDriver. So from Selenium, I need to install the Selenium package here. Install the WebDriver manager. So to install Chrome browser, Chrome driver, WebDriver manager. Okay, this has been already installed. So with this, now we can use the Selenium here. So from Selenium, we need WebDriver. So from Selenium, we'll be importing WebDriver. From Selenium, import WebDriver, and we need Flags. So from Flags, we'll be importing Flags class, and then request variable. And then we also need to use the Selenium as a service object. So from Selenium WebDriver dot Chrome dot service, import service, and we need now WebDriver manager dot Chrome to install the Chrome driver manager. I think with this we can execute all the code, and to locate the element using XPath, we also need to import by class. So from Selenium WebDriver dot common dot by, import by. Okay, common dot by, import by. So this is all the required library we need. And first, to create the Flags app, we'll define the app here. App equals Flags, and then let's name. Okay, now first we'll be writing one Selenium function here. So call that iter name is Selenium, download Selenium. Since we need a couple of Chrome options here, so we'll also need to use the Chrome option here to configure the headless browser. Since we are running this code in the server, we need to run it in the headless mode. So Chrome, let's define the variable Chrome options equals WebDriver dot Chrome options. And from Chrome option, we'll be adding headless argument. So Chrome dot add argument, and then headless. And we also need to define the no sandbox environment here. Chrome option dot, these arguments are mainly required we need to run the code in the server. uh, no sandbox sorry, no sandbox. Okay, and we also need to disable the SM uses. So Chrome options, we can find this argument in the description section to disable dev SM uses. Now we need to define the driver variable. So driver equals WebDriver dot Chrome, and we'll be passing the Chrome as a service object, service. And then inside the service, so if we write this Chrome driver manager dot install, it will automatically install the required Chrome driver in our project. So we don't need to specifically define the Chrome location, and this will install the Chrome driver. And we also need to add the options that we have created here. So options equals Chrome options. Sorry. Okay. Now, as we set the driver, then now we can execute any Selenium code here. Let's open any site called driver equals driver that get. First, let's open the Google site, and then copy the title from the Google site, or print the so this will extract the title of the Google page, so that we'll be sure whether the Google site is actually being opened in the server or not. And then we can also pull additional content from this site. I'll be here. I have let's open the google.com. Okay, let's also copy this language, copy this footer, so that we'll be sure actually Google site has been opened or not. So we have the XPath for this is div id sib. Okay, I'll be copying it, and let's locate this element first. So let's call this as a language variable, and for this language driver dot find element by dot xpath, and then inside the xpath I'll be writing the slash div, and I have copied it here, div, and then it equals, you can use it in a single quote. Okay, this is the XPath of the language section, from where we can change the language, and we'll be pulling the text from this, or we'll be extracting the text from this XPath. So this is the XPath, and then now we can create we have two variables, title and language, and we can create some JSON kind of structure from this, and then call it as a data. Okay, inside the data, phase title, and this is the title, and we have another language, and the value will be language. So now we have we have the data array format, and then we can return this data. So if we get this data in the web page, we'll be sure that the value are being pulled from this web page. Okay, language and then data. Okay, now we need to call this function from our Flax app. So first we'll be writing one main. From this main function, we'll be writing the app.run command. So this will run the command, and if we set the debug as a true mode, and you can also specify the port here, so that if any port are already this will generate the default port, I think of 5000, but if that port is already being used by the another services, then we have to kill that services. So instead of doing that, we can set any port values here. So we'll be running this in the specified port. Okay, now we need to define the route, whether it's a get method or post method. This is the final remaining code on the section, this Python section. App.route, and then will be defined as, since we do not have any specific page, so this is the default home page. And in the method section, we'll have we can specify which method it supports. Let's say both the get and post. So the hosting of this web application will support both get and post method. And let's write one home function here. And inside the home, if the request is like if request that method, since we'll be getting some values from the web application, like we'll be getting this data, so the method will be get here, get, and then after user sends the get request, we'll be calling this function, so that we'll get the data, return data. So we'll be, and then we'll return those data in users request. So return download Selenium. So this is all the required code in our Python application. So mainly we create one Flax app and then download Selenium. We define the download Selenium function, and we set up a couple of Chrome options to make this executable in as an remote server and cloud server. And then we open this Google site and printed the title and then data, and this is the, we defined the route here, and then okay. And to deploy this Selenium web app in Railway, we need one Docker file. So mainly Docker file, what it does is it instills all the required configuration in the web server, and then it will allow us to run that code. Okay, let's create one Docker file here. New file, call it Docker file. The file name should exactly look like this, and then we shouldn't add any extension, so that Railway app recognize it as a Docker file. And we can also add this. And in Docker file, first we need to define the port here. Okay, so this is the argument and port. We can set any port, so port 443. So this argument can be overridden so during the Docker image creation. And we also need to specify the base image. So this base image serves as the starting point for building the Docker image. So from Cypress / browsers, we'll be studying using the latest browsers in a per our Docker image. And we need to run a couple of commands here. So we need to install the Python in our Docker image. So from Docker image, so apt-get install Python 3, and then this if it asks for yes or no permission, it will set the yes. And we also need to run echo sorry dash m site. This will also be available upon the request if you face any difficulties. And then we also need to copy the one thing we need to be careful about is, like, while running this Selenium web apps, we need a couple of packages like Selenium WebDriver Manager, Selenium, and Flags, and we need to write those as a requirement file. And to run the Docker image from that requirement file, first we need to copy requirement.txt and then we to environment path, we'll be setting the home root here, home root, and once we copy these requirement.txt to the desired path, we need to also instill the pip so that it can execute the it can read the requirement.txt and execute that. So apt dot. So if we need any additional commands or if we need to run any additional packages or softwares, so we can all define it in the run. This is like the command update. And we also need to apt first we'll be updating our and apt get install. This is for y, it will say yes, and then python 3 dash pip. This will install the pip. And we have additional command here. These are all three command will be executed parallelly. And then pip one by one. Pip install dash r requirements.txt. So once we execute all this command, we need to copy our image. So copy, and then cmd upicon ipicon man app, and we need to define the host here, 0.0.0.0 and port. So this is the required Docker file which we need to deploy this code. And okay, so if you need this Docker file, I can provide you by email or GitHub link. So we have created one Selenium web app and also created the Docker file. And finally we need to create one requirement file. So this Python can also automatically generate the requirement.txt file and put it under this file. But since we have a very less number of requirement needed for this, we can write it here. So first we need Selenium and the version of the Selenium 4.0.6.0 and WebDriver Manager, and the version is 3.8.4, and then we need the Flags. Zero dot 3.9. I think these are all equals. These are the three packages we have installed. Okay, if we need any additional package, then we can define it in the requirement.txt section, and then this will automatically install all this requirement in our web server. Okay, so this is the Selenium and this is the Docker file and this is the requirement. Now I'll be committing all this code to our Git. We can also see it from here to see if it's working fine or not. So some error here. What is the error? Okay, WebDriver dot services. Okay, sorry. This shouldn't be a common. Actually, I made typo here. This should be the Chrome. Let's rerun the code. Okay, I have this be here, and then I can run it from here to see the result. It shows the null pointer extra unable to locate. It looks like the XPath for this Google page is incorrect. XPath is not correct. Okay, so I missed the ampersand here. Okay, let's rerun the code, and then okay, it returns the language something you this is the some parsing error. It was in the separate language, so that English, and then page title Google. So now it extract both the footer section and then the page title Google. So it indicates that our code is able to run the Selenium code and then able to extract the values from there. Now we need to commit this again. Okay, and we will be committing all the file here first. Okay, now we'll have all the required code in our GitHub, the Railway app. So you can also simply sign up in the railway.app, and then you will get the dashboard like this. And here you will have the new project option. So clicking on this new project, so first option will be deploy from GitHub repo. Then it will list out all the repo you have, and then click on the repo, and then click on the deploy now, and it will start creating the project. So here is the settings that I applied to deploy this code in Railway app. So here it will be man, and then the domain will be automatically generated by this Railway web, and clicking on that domain you will be able to see the results. And yeah, this is the source repository path, and it will automatically detect the Docker file. And in start command you should specify unicorn, and then the Python file name and colon with app. So this is the settings part of Heroku application. And in the dashboard section, so after the deployment completed, it will show the URL, and then clicking on this URL you will get the result like this. So here the language and page title, these are in the JSON format. So if you do not have JSON formatter, then it will look something some different, but overall the result will be same. So this is the all required configuration that you need to do to deploy your Python project or Selenium project in the Railway app. And I have corrected a few of the grammar spelling errors here. The requirement spelling was not correct. So this is the final Docker file. You can take a quick look here. Port and Cypress. So initially I wrote the browser here. It should be browsers, and run. If you need all this file, I can provide you, and then run, copy. This is the Docker file, and this is the requirement file. I have added two more requirement. One is packaging. This will be required to install the WebDriver manager, and another is Unicorn. We already used that as our start command. And yeah, and this is the Selenium web app. I haven't modified anything on this, so you can take a look here. If you face any issues or confusion while deploying this, then feel free to reach out to the comments or email us. So this is all for today. So thank you for watching this video, and yeah. Have a great day. Thank you.